Bobby, we welcome you back here. What's on the Warriors' to-do list this offseason?
Well, the number one thing, George, is clarity on the future of Jonathan Kuminga here. He is one of the four restricted free agents that has not been signed right now. He has an $8 million qualifying offer. That contract is binding. And basically, the future of Kuminga is keeping the Warriors in a holding pattern as far as what they can do as far as going out and signing other players right now here. So we're going to certainly keep an eye on Kuminga. The second thing is what Mike Dunleavy Jr. said. There's got to be a patching up the front court here. When you look at the roster right now, they've got Quentin Post, who was on a two-way last year, and they converted Trace Jackson Davis. There is a glaring hole at the center position. Draymond Green, of course, played primarily at center a lot last year. And then the third is replacing the glue guys. When you look at Kevon Looney, who is now in New Orleans, Gary Payton II is still unsigned. It's finding those type of players that can kind of do the dirty work. George, they've got 9 players under contract right now. 15 is the max in the NBA. There's certainly work to do in Golden State. The question is going to be, how does the future of Kuminga dictate as far as what are those other parts that are going to be added to this roster?
Great stuff as always, Bobby. Thank you so much. All right, the Warriors over-under win total has been set at 46.5 at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. That's right around the 48 win mark that the Warriors had last season. So let's get back with our panel here. Mark, you're as plugged into the Warriors as anyone. What do you expect here over the next several weeks?
Frustration.
Oh, okay. All right. That's one emotion.
Kuminga's situation is complicated, man. They're
it's like a Facebook. Remember when Facebook used to have those status updates and it would say it's complicated? It's like that. I'm dating myself, but
no, I agree with you. His agent met with the Warriors last week. Still no answer. They're trying to figure it out. As Bobby mentioned, it's holding everything else up. What they want to do. And then obviously the one that everybody's worrying about is Al Horford. Like, what's going to happen with Al Horford? You know, Golden State obviously expected him to sign last week. He didn't. Lakers, Milwaukee, Atlanta, I believe, are also interested in the nearly 40-year-old guy who also has retirement on the table.
Right.
He's still considering retiring. He's not in any hurry. He's got a 6th kid coming on the way. He lives in Atlanta and Boston in the offseason. But I'm hearing that whether it's Golden State or, you know, lesser extent if it's the Lakers, like being away from his family that far isn't going to be in that decision. But keep in mind, know who I think is going to be in this decision?
Who?
His 10-year-old son, Ian.
Okay.
He just started traveling with Al on the road like 2 seasons ago. Kid loves basketball. I know he's like, Dad, Steph Curry, Dad. Like, it likely.
All the kids love Steph Curry, man. I know that.
I could see Ian convincing his dad to keep playing.
Tim, let me ask you this.
Shout out to Ian.
What is the market for Kuminga and Horford even at this point?
Well, look, until Al Horford either retires or signs somewhere else, the assumption around the league is that he will end up with the Warriors. I would tell Warriors fans, relax on that one. I think things are going to turn out in your favor there. Kuminga is certainly complicated, but there's not much of a market for him. Right. He would love to go somewhere that values him as a star, that sees him as a focal point for their offense, which clearly Steve Kerr doesn't. Steve Kerr was DNP-CD in this guy during the playoffs. He has said multiple times he doesn't think he's a fit with Steph and with Jimmy Butler when they have both of those guys healthy, which is, you know, that 22-5 lineup. But the simple fact of the matter is this. If there's not a market for Kuminga, there's not some kind of sign and trade situation in the summer, then it's probably in both parties' best interest to do some sort of maybe like a smaller version of the Jalen Green deal, you know, a 3-year deal with a player option, that sort of thing. The kind of deal that, quite frankly, is designed to try to be traded as soon as he's eligible on December 15th. Now, if that happens, Steve Kerr, you got to play in the first couple months of the season. You got to showcase the guy if the whole point is you're trying to move him at the not even the deadline, the first day he's eligible.
Right, for sure. All right, UD, you've been around a ton of superstars at different points in their careers, but including the tail ends of their careers. So how much pressure do you think is on the Warriors front office to improve this roster?
I mean, I don't know if it's on their front office to improve the roster because of what's going on right now with other teams in the West, but I'll just say with their team particularly, the pressure to improve the roster is you saw your weaknesses like glaringly in the playoffs last year. You saw the lack of size glaringly against Minnesota last year. You saw the lack of athleticism glaringly against Minnesota last year. So when you talk about bringing in Al, I love Al. I would love for him to finish his career with a guy like Steph. He's a guy who's definitely going to space the floor and knock down some threes, but he does not address your needs. He does not address the need of athleticism when you talk about bringing in another guy who's older, and he does not address the need of having size. When you look around the West right now, everybody has size. When you talk about what Houston has with Jabari Smith and that length, KD and that length, bringing in Sengun, still having Sengun, and having Adams come back and bringing in Capella. When you look at what Denver's been able to do, when you look at what OKC's been able to do, when you look at Minnesota and still having Randall and all these guys have length and athleticism. You are not addressing length and athleticism by just bringing in Al. Love Al, but that is not the one that's going to push you over the hump.
NBA